Some Avatar fans might say that Korra's origin stories disrupt the lore of Airbender. I argue that it actually deepens it, and my explanation comes off the back of the Cave of Two Lovers. Let's discuss. Hey everyone, welcome to today's Geek Talk. Let's discuss the idea of how the Cave of Two Lovers tale, in which we learn about the origins of earthbending, actually coincides or possibly coincides with Avatar Wan and his era, and also the fact that Korra did not overwrite the old lore, but instead deepened it and showed a new way to look at it. Again, thank you to my members for choosing this week's video. If you too want to choose what videos I do on Monday, you can go ahead and hit the join button below or in the description box, also below. First, in case you aren't familiar, there have been in the past, and even now when Netflix kind of got Korra back, some outcry from the fan base that some of the stuff that was established in the beginnings episode that featured Avatar Wan and the origin of the Avatar and the origin of bending itself, people, had a little bit of an outcry about, hey, why are you changing the lore? I liked it better when, we didn't know the mystery of where it came from, or also the idea that the original benders were the ones who taught humans how to bend. Now the issue with this, and you won't really hear this from these people who are dissenters of this, but it actually doesn't make that much sense of people being able to bend because they just learn it from natural benders, the dragons, the sky bisons, the moon, the badger moles. Because if that was the case, someone like Sokka, who is a non-bender, should theoretically be able to go up to a badger mole and, spend a few weeks with them and learn how to earthbend, but that is not the case. And what I feel is the case is that there is two parts to bending. There is the magic of bending that is bestowed by the lion turtles, and then there is the martial art of bending, which is the actual act of being able to manipulate the earth via martial arts. Whether we're talking about the different kind of disciplines like the Hungar, praying mantis styles in there. There's Kung Fu, of course. There's all these different kinds of fighting styles that elevate and make bending possible, which is one of the reasons why Zahir was able to translate that so well, because he already knew martial arts very well. He already was studying the kinds of martial arts that the airbenders were using, and when he actually got airbending itself, it was, something he could adapt pretty easily because he actually had the innate power in him as well as his martial skill. So first, let's establish Avatar Wan. So as we know, at the end of his era, at the time of Hermetic Convergence, and he was able to put Vaatu away into the Tree of Time, we saw him just, trying to become the first Avatar and, fighting amongst a bunch of humans who were in a warring state, in a warring period. And if we actually look at the story of Oma and Shu, they too were living during a time of turmoil and war. Now, one could say, and this is fair, that, well, duh, I mean, every society, every kind of timeline has war and it has conflict. But that's just a constant in human affairs. But the thing about Oma and Shu and their war and how it ties with Avatar Wan specifically is the origin of bending itself. And that's the thing, I think those two facets actually tie them together, the warring period and also the fact of the origin of bending, because Avatar Wan comes from this period in which bending is starting to pop off. And for me, I think that Oma and Shu used to live on the original earthbending lion turtle, or the earth lion turtle. I'm not sure how they actually distinguish between their names. But as they were forced to leave and live in the wilds with their earth magic that they now have, but without the idea of them having the martial skill, I believe these two warring factions, were just, vying for resources, that were out in the wilds because they didn't want to venture into the wilds because, it's a scary place, or they've known it to be a scary place. So they are just, battling for resources around the places that they know. And also the thing about this is that not a lot of these nations knew about each other. Like even Wan, when he was traveling around, we're like, whoa, I didn't know there was other lion turtle cities or there were other humans in the world. I think that's still the case for this beginning period. I think a lot of the fighting that we have in this warring period is a lot of infighting. So there's going to be a lot of earth benders versus other earthbenders. Fire, we already know that the past for the Fire Nation is that they had a bunch of warlords that were just attacking each other. So I think a lot of these conflicts are a lot of civil wars in each respective place, except for probably the airbenders. If you think about it, the airbenders were probably not fighting at all. In fact, they probably were understanding the martial skill of airbending first before anybody else. But anyway, so we know the story of Oma and Shu. They met each other. They were from two opposing villages, basically a Romeo and Juliet. They found each other at this mountain pass, and they went to hide away in these caves where they learned how to bend the earth inside those caves to create their own tunnels in the same way that the badger moles did. And this is actually very similar to what we saw with Toph, because Toph already innately knew how to use earth, but she didn't learn to become a master and become to really understand the martial art of it until she met with the badger moles. So again, this is all fitting together. There's no real argument that one overwrites the other. They actually do live very much together if you allow yourself to look at the story and be able to do that. So in this fashion, Oma and Shu effectively become the first earth benders, because earth bending, like the actual meaning of that word, if you actually like think about the meaning of the word, earth bending means martial art. You know, you can't just be an earthbender just by lifting rocks and being like, oh, hey, I can do it. I can do the ability. There's a difference between doing the ability and doing something that, you know, Toph is capable of doing, or doing something that Bumi can do, like these advanced techniques of earthbending that don't just come from just being able to throw rocks. Like it's actually being able to manipulate the earth and to change it to your own form, to form it, to bend it. So that is why I think that when we see the story of the Cave of Two Lovers, it's not overridden by the new series, because earth bending is a very specific thing. It's not just earth magic, throw rocks. And then of course we know that Shu eventually dies while in one of the wars, one of the battles. We're not really sure what exactly the circumstances were, but we just know that he died from some sort of conflict. And then Oma takes over, and she's able to do this as becoming her own little mini avatar in the Earth Kingdom itself, or what will become of the Earth Kingdom, because she knows the martial skill of earthbending. She's not just doing these simple things that the other people in this world or in this time period would be doing. And since she's the only one who actually knows how to actually bend earth, that's the reason she's able to create the new city of Omashu. And I also would say that the way that the city is built, it looks like it's in the same sort of style of the old earth lion turtle cities. So I think that all fits together. Like the design of Omashu itself is very old-timey. It looks very similar to the lion turtle cities. There's warring factions, and I think that fits into the war period of Avatar Wan's first era, and also the fact of the origin of bending. But that's it. That's how I think the Cave of Two Lovers actually overlaps and coincides with Avatar Wan and lives in harmony with it and not against it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree that they can live in harmony and that the two could live in the same time period? Or do you think I am talking out of my booty? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, you can watch more videos on the side of my face here, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.